So I am pleased to introduce Micah Allard, Nashua South Astronomy Club, and officers Shri, Lakshmi, Yuan, and Josh. So Mike, I will hand the screen over to you and let you present.
All right, perfect. So, all right, I'm just going to share my screen. Wait, oh, yeah, I can't share it when you're sharing.
We unshare.
Yeah, once you unshare, I can do it. Okay, perfect. Share that. Slideshow. Go all the way to the first slide. Let's just page up, right? It's loading. My computer's kind of a potato. Okay. Thank you everybody for listening in. This is the Nashua High Astronomy Club, and we are trying to inspire the future of space. And this presentation was made by our officer team. So I want to start by telling you guys our mission. Our mission here at the club is to educate and inspire students of Nashua High to contribute to astronomy, astrophysics, and cosmology, but also to inspire them about potential careers and just genuinely inform them about the field. Okay, and
so one thing that pulls us all together is our passion, and that's what we share in common. The beauty of astronomy is that the more we learn, the more questions we also develop in the process, and we will never truly understand everything, and there's so much to know in the immense universe which we're all part of. And astronomy is an area of science that ties together many other branches like physics, chemistry, biology, geology, so much more. And many people would consider this astronomical phenomena and theory to be close to a comparison of magic too.
So our goals, we really want to collaborate and increase the astronomy knowledge of all of our club members, from club members to even our most experienced staff. We also want to outreach to the Nashua High School, outreach beyond the Nashua High School South community to possibly even other clubs. We just want to spread the importance of space exploration to everyone, and possibly even partner up with other students and even possible guests from the NHAS, from our state, or even the country. Yep.
So who are we? So we are the dedicated students of Nashua High School South and Nashua High School North, and we all share the same deep passion for astronomy as a whole. We all collaboratively learn together and dedicate our time to share our passion and to discuss the progress and the updates that are being made continuously in the field. We all enjoy our time together a lot, learning astonishing facts and watching fascinating dome shows as a group.
so if you guys can see on the right there, that's our little dome where we have our meetings. Okay. So I want to go over our club officers and kind of our hierarchy. I'm the president, Micah Allard. This is the vice president. To the left, that's Josh. To my right, to your left is Shri, who is the secretary. We have the innovation director, which is Yuvan in the back, and logistics manager, which is Lakshmi. Our supervisor was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. That's Mr. Rock Panel, also part of NHAS. And our administrator is Mrs. Cox, who, doesn't have time for us. So, all right.
So to be a member of the Astronomy Club, we have meetings every other Thursday in E-Block. E-Block is basically an advisory sort of meeting every in the middle of the day. So to be in the Astronomy Club, you have to join the Google Classroom that we provide. And in this Google Classroom, we send reminders and announcements, providing our members with a bunch of information about the club. And it also allows students to ask questions and participate in surveys to determine what will be shown in the next club.
What really allows our club to succeed is the immense amount of resources we have, most notably the amazing planetarium, the dome, and as of recently, there's been a loaner program for entry-level telescopes open to all students in Astronomy Club, along with students taking the astronomy class offered at Nashua South. As mentioned before, we have a Google Classroom community where everyone can share cool and interesting facts they find or current up-to-date events. And we have all sorts of really amazing up-to-date modern star shows, as we'll get into on the next slide. So recently, at the end of 2022, our planetarium was given an enormous upgrade, going from roughly 1080p to now a full 4K dome with 2 projectors instead of the previous 6. And we, for a school of quite an immense size with 21 seats, it's big enough to teach classes and host the entire astronomy club. Yep.
So our members have a very high input in the club. We always send polls and surveys out to the members to make sure that we're giving like the stuff they want. Like our presentations, our dome shows, our discussions, everything is very largely like student inspired and student driven, allowing just a happy environment all throughout.
Yeah, we're a very democratic club. Okay. I'll try to see that thing, right?
So some activities we do is we create educational presentations based off of like the club's interests, as Yvonne said, and create interactive demonstrations like the presentations we make and dome shows and other things that the club can interact with along with what we do. And we have like the shows, as I said, in our dome, and we invite guest speakers to speak for the club. And we're planning to organize field trips like stargazing in like May or June.
Yeah, we also want to do other science field trips, like possibly the Kristen McCall Center would be a good idea. Just, local field trips we can take kids on that are, educational.
Our astronomy has taught a wide variety of different fascinating and debatable topics throughout our universe. And some topics we touch over the few weeks were black holes, the origin of the universe, telescopes, space exploration, and exoplanets. And in a while, we will be showing you a demonstration of how our club would normally operate, and we will be presenting on the topic of black holes.
Yeah, so we're gonna give a kind of, to summarize that, we're gonna just give a quick black hole presentation, which will show what we normally would do in club if we wanted to have an educational presentation.
Now, being such a new program, we still have tremendous plans for the future. And just some of those are most notably connecting with other astronomy clubs around the country to pool our resources, along with beginning a fundraising program to fund the future trips we'd like to host or take. And we'd also like to invest more in telescopes for the future stargazing events that we will be hosting, along with trying to attract guest speakers who may be interested in sharing some of their knowledge with very passionate high school students.
Yep. And so that's it for kind of what our club is based on. And now I'm going to, we're going to show you guys what a typical educational presentation would look like in the form of the topic on black holes. Back in October, if I can move the bar, wait, my bad. I'm going forward. Sorry about that. So back in October, we had our team elected to do this. Not this team. We didn't have this team back in October. We had the members elected to have this presentation. So we made an educational presentation of black holes, and this is kind of this is demonstrating how our club runs. So
at the beginning of every meeting, we always start with some basic announcements just to keep everyone fully informed with what is going on this particular day in October. We just had a basic welcome and introduction discussing a survey we put up in Google Classroom, along with introducing the topic of the upcoming black hole presentation. And as Micah previously stated, we had not yet chosen officers, so that was very much still in the works at this time.
yeah, it was just me running the thing back then. All right.
Oh, me? So we surveyed about a couple of things. Black holes, the James Webb Telescope, which just recently launched when this presentation was made. So it was very up to date, and the current Mars events. Out of all of these, black holes was rated on top, and James Webb Telescope was in the middle. So we decided to make a presentation on black holes. Well, Micah decided to make a presentation on black holes.
Yeah, it was, so again, the democracy kind of plays in. This is how our club runs. We decide what people want the most, and we go for it, whether it's a star show presentation. So, yeah.
So let's talk about what even is a black hole. A black hole is a celestial object which has an infinite density and an incredibly high mass. Comes from a very large star. It's a remnant of a dead star, and it has an incredibly high gravitational pull. And when anything reaches that event horizon of a black hole, which is basically the edge of a waterfall in simple terms, you can't go past that event horizon, and anything that goes past that is stuck, including light. And that's why it's called a black hole, because you literally can't see it without the accretion disk around it.
Yep, and as you can see, like the letters are big, it's pretty easy to read. We like try to make it as visually appealing as possible for the members. We use interactive images like this one. If you want to, like this gives us like an anatomy of a black hole, for example.
Yeah, so we just like go through like the list, like singularity, like Michael would talk about the singularity. He'd say what it would be, and then he just, in this demonstration, we just went outwards from the singularity out to the accretion disk, and yeah.
But we make a lot of these like really interactive images to like kind of get the members' minds, and we just kind of explain. This is another example of how the black hole is made, and then we have another image.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going forward now. So
a black hole, which comes from a nebula, and these nebula they form stars, but these stars have to be above a certain mass. They have to be quite big, and as they get older, their fuel gets exhausted, and their cores start fusing heavier and heavier elements, all the way up to iron, which is where the core stops fusing, because iron is the most stable element, and the star can't really sustain on a core that can make energy. So it implodes on itself, and if it's above a certain mass, the star will become a black hole. And yeah, and if it's not above that certain threshold, it'll just turn into a neutron star.
And obviously, it's a ton easier to explain when you have a chart. So that's why we use charts and interactive images. Definitely helps us engage the members more. Here, so this is talk about star death, like Yvonne just explained. It's 25 solar masses and it dies. I mean, we bold the key points of each sentence, so like it comes across to the members more. They go over the types of black holes, stellar masses and supermassive black holes. So you find a supermassive at like the center of the galaxy. Stellar black holes are much smaller. The importance of black holes, we talk about how they kind of affect the science of astronomy, and so that way the members can understand more, like what it means and how it affects science as a whole. And then important events in black holes life. We also include some videos here and there to kind of visually demonstrate. This is just a video of black holes merging. It's a simulation. This is a video of the tidal disruption event, which is when star mass is ripped off by a black hole. You've probably seen a video of that at some point. We just go over this the videos are nice because they help the members understand more like what we're talking about, and they give a much more like graphic illustration. And I can't hit play because this video is going and this video is going at the same time. Okay, there we go. So we also go over how to discover black holes. Obviously, they're not easy. I don't know like a really good telescope. How do I say this? Okay, so you need a global wide telescope to find the black hole. It's just the way it is. Remember, if you guys were there in 2018, the Haystack Observatory was part of finding that big black hole. I think it was Sagittarius. I'm not sure though. Was it Sagittarius? Yeah. So yeah, there you go. We just again use images to focus on, like, to give people a real like description, depiction of what it is. And then we talk about the end, and because everybody wants to know, well, if it's so big and powerful, like how will it fall? Talk about the end of a black hole, and that's it. And then we always make time for questions at the end of the presentation. So that's kind of how our club runs. That's a brief synopsis. That's an educational presentation. If we don't do an educational presentation, we might, have a star show, or we might have just a discussion or a demonstration, or in this case, Mr. Deschênes offered to speak at our club once. And we still haven't gotten to that because we've had some delays. We had a snow day and we had other stuff come up, but hopefully next week, Mr. Deschênes will speak at our club. And yeah, so that's it. Thanks for listening to our quick presentation. And if anybody has any questions about how our club works, feel free to ask us.
Time for questions, and yes, I will speak. I believe I cleared out a Thursday coming up, right?
Yep, next Thursday, we hope to see you there.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let me be the first to say I'm a very program when I was in high school, and you guys seem to be very dedicated. How many members do you have in the club right now?
We have 30.
30.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have 30 unofficial members, but like only like 15 to 20 regularly show up. But we basically have 30. And that does include us. This is our first year doing it. We're the founders. Like, I founded this club in October. We had a astronomy club 10 years ago in the school, but it kind of fell out after the leaders left. So I plan to keep this going after I leave high school, by passing it down to people. We have 2 freshmen on the team, right? Lakshmi and Yvonne are both freshmen, so I'll probably, keep it going once I leave the school. That's the plan. Any other questions?
No pressure, Lakshmi and Yvonne. No pressure at all. Right?
All right.
I know that's a very big challenge in high school. You got a lot of turnover and keeping things going. But if you have a good enough base, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with that.
Yep. We also have a very, our supervisor, Mr. Penal, he's the best. Like, there have been times, this presentation, for example, did actually end up going short. We had 40 minutes in E-block, and it went only like 35 minutes, and we were out of time, but he was able to take us through the whole thing by expanding on it. He's the astronomy teacher at our school, so it's great to have him as our supervisor. Any other questions?
Do you get any school, I'm sorry, do you get any school credit for doing any of this?
No, we just do it because I love astronomy. I think the rest of you all love it. So that's why we do it. We don't get any credit. It's just.
Are you aware of the Solar System Ambassador Program through NASA and JPL?
No.
Take a look. It's Solar System Ambassador Program. There are a bunch of them here in New Hampshire that I suspect would be quite happy to come and talk to you about what's up.
Yep.
We're just in it for the cookies and cocoa, so we're a cheap date.
Yeah.
What do you have for telescopes?
Well, I can go back to that slide. I can find it. Wait, this is not easy. Yeah, we got a couple computers open. I forget what they're called. I have a Celestron Astromaster, which is kind of a basic telescope, but that's back at my house. But we have some Celestron first scopes at our club.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have a picture if I can scroll all the way back. Damn, this is a long presentation. Yeah. Sorry about this.
You've got that big red one.
Yep,
There it is.
There we are. So there's our Celestron first scopes. And Mr. Pernell is part of the NHAS, so he's got a telescope at his house, and like he's our supervisor. So the NHAS is like our, it's our local astronomy club. It's awesome our local astronomy association is nice to have in our background.
I feel so touched here. So, Micah, how often do you observe? How often do you?
How often do I observe? That's a good question. I tend to observe when I can. Often I'm pretty busy, but like in the summer, I'll observe every day. I do this club in University of Arizona every summer on Stewart Observatory in Mount Lemmon. If you guys know anything about that, I work with a professor there, and the observatory is really nice up there. And every night in the summer, I usually whip out my celestial astrometer and go observe. But after summer, I don't observe very frequently. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe once a month. I don't usually have a lot of time. I'm a full year athlete, so I've got to sleep.
All right. Anybody else in the club?
Doesn't help that it's you're in New England.
Huh?
Do you do any outreach with younger grades?
Yes. This is for every grade of high school. We do posters. We have a website. Yeah. Yeah, it's a work in progress, so we didn't put in the presentation, but it's not even. Is it published?
It's not published, but it's very close to being.
It's close to being published. Yeah.
See, GL Bacos, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you. I was curious about your curriculum. I know when I was in high school, we didn't have an astronomy class per se. So is it like a single elective, or how's that work?
Yeah, so I actually just finished the astronomy class back at the end of January, and the class I know varies depending, it just changes every so often, but the way it operated when I took it is really began actually looking at the origins of the universe and basically working our way back in, going from different theories of the origin of the universe to black holes, eventually ending at exoplanets. And we also, of course, took a look at the early history of astronomy on Earth and all sorts of interesting topics in between.
That's great. I'm hoping we'll see a Nashua High school bus up in Pittsburgh next year for the solar eclipse.
Oh yeah, that would be great if we could get that working. Totally. Okay, does anybody else have questions?
Have you guys had a chance to go down and see Haystack at all?
I live only about 10 miles from Haystack. I've gone there myself. The problem is they don't really do anything with high schoolers. They only really work with college kids, I think.
Well, yeah, I do know at one time, in order for them to receive the National Science Foundation funds, they had to demonstrate a certain amount of outreach. And back in the early 70s, we even had middle schoolers going down there for a program. So I don't know how much that has changed over the years.
I'll look into it.
But you guys should be incredibly proud of yourself. What you're doing is fantastic, and I certainly hope you keep it up. And I've written down the names and hope to see some of these names as members of the New Hampshire Astronomical Society in the future. So that's great. Keep it up. Find the area of astronomy that you find passionate and go for it.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. That's really kind of you. I actually already am a member.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else is, but I'm a member. You guys want to join, you're welcome. Okay.
Do you get you follow the list postings, the emails?
The emails, yeah. I do. I don't really talk a lot because I don't have a lot to say, but I see you guys talking. Yep.
I'm Mark Stowbridge. Email me your address and I'll send you some more information I think you'll be interested in.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
STOWBRIDGE, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, is that it? Or does anybody else have anything else to say?
Any other questions for the Astronomy Club in Nashua High?
Nope. All right, well, thank you all very much for letting us come into this meeting and talk. It was our pleasure. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you.
Very
Thank
impressive.
you.
Shri, Lakshmi,
We're gonna-
Yvonne, Josh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna hang around. We're just gonna mute ourselves and go ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Stop sharing.
Guys.
Say thank you, guys.
Yep.
I will share. It is big. And I will stop this recording. Oops, let me